Hello guys, just wait for a minute, right? We'll start on time. Just wait for people. Just 1 more minute. Otherwise, people should come in between and maybe it will get disturbed to other people. So just wait. 1 minute. I'm just waiting 1 more minute, guys. Do you all able to hear me properly? Are you able to see my screen? Does everyone able to see
Yes,
my
sir.
screen?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes.
Yes.
My WhatsApp is loading. Will still asking link, right? So just wait a minute. So should start. I'm waiting few more seconds. 30 seconds more. Send the masses. Okay, let's just start. It's okay. So thank you everyone to all about to join my sessions. Here, before us join starting lesson number 3, I have a questions to all of you. Do you all receive the 2 notes, whatever the classes we discussed in the last sessions, the last 2 notes, everyone will receive it? One question, please let me know if anyone is here who did not receive the 2 notes. Okay, I hope yes. If anybody not received the notes, please send your email ID into the group. I hope everyone is a
I
part of the.
I didn't receive the
So,
notes.
Nikit, have you given your email IDs?
I did share it to you personally. Yes,
One message can be missed. If you share into the group, you will definitely get it. But I will check your message. Okay, so don't worry.
yesterday. Yeah.
So
Sure.
first of all,
Sure. Thank you.
okay, first of all, let's see whatever the agenda of the session, how we are going. So we already a part of my 2 sessions, and you can see that when we start the session, we are going topic by topic. We are not discussing interview questions, question answer. We are not discussing the whole class. The whole SQL session is go through how much around 80 hour session we are doing in all the classes. If you go through here, if you all the classes, you guys know that when we start our SQL superhero batch for June 1st, right? What exactly our motto was? Our motto is that you have to prepare in such a way that when you go for interview, you're able to answer each and every question, including the scenario based question. I'm not here to discuss the question answer to all of you. This is the question, this is the answer. It's not the way. We are starting from scratch. And I'm not here to discuss an important topic. Maybe the reason what I'm not doing demo, there is no demo in my class, never. The reason is sometimes the demo could be shiny. I can choose maybe an very important topic, and you guys can think, wow, this topic is very good. I will take session of class from Vishal. But actually, this is no any specific topic. We are going from start so that my time will not waste. So whatever we're discussing in the class is done. Class number one, class number two, and that would because you all the scenario based question in any interview, all the scenario based question which is coming, that all question coming from the basic concept. Each and every scenario based question is coming from the base concept of any interview. If your experience level, listen everyone here before starting the session, if your experience level is less than 5 years, maybe you can non-IT, maybe you are fresher, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years. My first class number one to class number 10. From here, you are covering at least 40% of your interview questions. All. Why we are discussing topic by topic? Why we are not discussing interview questions? So that when interviewer want to make any scenario based question, if your concept is clear, you are able to answer each and every topic. So we are learning concepts. We are not learning question answer first of all. Okay, you have to spend your 2.5 months in my class to become pro, right? This is what we are going to discuss in each and every scenario, all permutation and combination of question being asked. For experience level, more than 5 years, more than 5 years. For you, at least from my 1 to 10 class number, you are getting at least 30% of your whole interview questions coming from class number 1 to class number 10. For experience level, more than 10 years, your all scenario based question, like 100% of your scenario based question will become from class number 1 to class number 10. So please focus on the class. When we start from the base concept. We start from the in the today's class. We're going to discuss about keys. We are going to discuss keys. Then we're going to discuss constraint. Then we are going to discuss each and every topic. Then we move to join. Then we move to SQL. Then we move to PL SQL. That is what the path we are going to follow. And each and every path we are discussing all the questions, all the concept. Because today, let's start today's class. Today, I'm basically going to discuss keys. Keys is such an important topic when you go for interview. Most of the people even get confused that what is super key, what is candidate key, what is primary key, what is, for example, surrogate key. How do I get a difference? How do I know if suppose this question come in the interview, difference between surrogate key, super key, candidate key, alternate key, primary key? People get confused, they don't know. You are not able to distinguish difference between the super key and candidate key. Not able to distinguish candidate key and a primary key. Everyone memorize the answer primary key, unique key. Everybody memorize the answer primary key, foreign key. But how do you know how you're able to identify super key, candidate key, surrogate key, unique key, alternate key? That is what you're going to discuss in the class. Okay. Notes you are everybody will get. The first 48 hours, please try to read the notes within 48 hours. If you read within 48 hours, you do not have to even revise the things. Things will be automatically put to all of you. Okay. Ready everyone till here? Can we start?
Yes,
Yes.
Vishal.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So be active in the class. Try to talk is good. Okay. Before that, let's go here. I hope everyone able to create your account on the live SQL. Do you all able to create the account on live SQL, everybody?
Yes.
If not, anybody has any problem facing in getting the account, you all can ping me one to one. Okay, first of all, we will create a separate group maybe by tomorrow. So this is, if you go here, I'm clicking on start coding. It asking my username password because I already created my account. So I will directly go and enter into the landscape. Yes. Suppose we are going to discuss keys concept. Listen here, everyone. What is key? When we talk about key, the first thing comes in your mind, everyone, that there is a primary key which is uniquely identified. This is the word you know. Uniquely identified means what? That whenever I run a query, it gives me one data. Every key, when we talk about keys, when we talk about the concept called keys, keys means who, key means what? Key means who can open the lock. Everyone, key is what? Who can open the lock? Any doubt? This is what the key. If you have a key, you can open the lock, right? That is the concept of keys, right? We know that. So what exactly the key is? Any key it means who can uniquely identify the data. Every key used to uniquely identify the data, either it is a super key, or it is a candidate key, or it is a primary key, or it is an alternate key, or it is a unique key. If you're talking about any key, they are able to uniquely identify the data. That's why they are called keys. So never get confused that only primary key used to uniquely identify the data. Super key also used to uniquely identify the data. Candidate key also used to uniquely identify the data. Alternate key also used to uniquely identify the data. Every key used to uniquely identify the data. So what is key? Key is used to uniquely identify the data. Uniquely identify means what? Suppose I'm writing a query. See here. Select star from HR.employees. When I run this query give me multiple rows. Multiple rows. If I talk here in this particular example, if I give this example and run a query, select a star from employees, where, think about where employee ID is equal to 100. So when I run this query, employee ID equal to 100, so my this query will give me only one row. So whenever I'm giving only one row, it means this where clause is considered as a key. This is key, which can give me uniquely identification of the data, means only one row. If I'm receiving only one row, it means uniquely identify the data. That is called key. That can be a super key, that can be a candidate key, that can be a primary key, that can be alternate key, that can be unique key, any key. Super key is what? Let's first go with the super key. Super key in the main landscape. This is super key. Every key comes under super key. Super key means a set of one or more than one column which is used to uniquely identify the data. Basically, all keys are super key. Either it is a primary key, candidate key, unique key. They all are subset of super key. It means employee ID is one super key. Maybe employee ID first name is another super key. Maybe employee ID first name last name this combination another super key. Maybe employee ID first name last name email these four columns another super key. If I have all these columns, all column combination are multiple super key. A table contains multiple super key. Super key means what? Uniquely identify the data. By using my query, if I get one row, it means I'm talking about keys. So if suppose I can use only job ID and salary, this combination, and I'm getting only one row, it means this column combination is a super key. Suppose I'm using commission ID, manager ID, and salary, these three column combination, I'm getting one row. So these three column combination is called a super key. So any column combination which can give you uniquely identification of data or which can give you only one row from the table, it means that column combination, the where clause which I use, it will give me one row. So this is called super key. So in this example, what example we are discussing, in this example, if you can see, one super key, two super key, three super key, four super key, five super key, six super key, seven, multiple super keys are possible. A table contains multiple super key. But what is candidate key? Then, for example, suppose I'm writing a query, select staff or employee, where employee ID, first name, last name, these three column combination I'm using, employee ID, first name, last name, email, four column combination. I get one row. So that can be super key, that can be candidate key, that can be primary key, that can be alternate key, that can be unique key, anything. Suppose same, I can go one more time and see these three column combination only. Employee name, first name, last name. In previous example, I took four columns. Now I'm taking only three columns. Employee ID, first name, last name. If these three column combination give me one row, so that can be also a super key. That can be anything of this. Suppose these two column combination I'm using for employee ID and first name. And this column combination will give me two rows. Suppose I run a query, select staff from employee, where employee ID is equal to this and first name is equal to this. And by this using, I'm getting two rows. Means these two column combination is not a key. This is not a key because I'm getting two rows. But if I use last name, these three column combination, and then I'm getting one row. So the minimum of super key is candidate key. Minimum of super key is candidate key. This three column combination is a candidate key because it will give me one row. Suppose this first name, last name, only these two column combination. This also considered as a candidate. Candidate key is anything. All super key combinations are candidate key. All the keys like candidate key, primary key, alternate key, unique key, surrogate key, they all are subset of super key. Super key, uniquely identification of data. Candidate, and what the primary key? When I go to the minimum data, suppose the minimum two column combination which you use to uniquely identify the data. So these two column combination is called primary key. Then what is the difference between primary key and candidate key then? Candidate key also used to identify data minimum column combination. Then how can you make it as a candidate key? Why it is primary key? Primary key will never accept any null value. For example, in this combination, same example, if I say, if I say here, guys, say this one, this column combination, if I say salary, job ID, salary, and commission, these three column combination. These three column combination used to give me uniquely identification data, job ID, salary, and commission. These three column combination will give you unique identification of data. I can say this is a candidate key because it is giving uniquely identified data, but this cannot be a primary key. This cannot be a primary key because it contains a commission percentage column. This column contains null value. Primary key is the most respected member of the family. Primary key is saying, I am behave like same. I am able to uniquely identify the data. Everything I will do same. But the only thing is, I am not here to include anyone. I am not here to include anyone which contains null value. So commission percentage cannot be included because this column contains a null value. Commission percentage cannot be included. So remember, primary key also a part of super key. The minimum of candidate key is the primary key, but that should not contains any null value because the attribute of the primary key is I'm not accepting null. Interview asks a question, scenario question like this in the interview. For the people seen, they are not asking definitions like this anymore in the interview. They can ask you this table, make a table, create a column and say, so you can maybe you can say this is not a primary key. Then you can it a candidate key? Is it possible a candidate key? Is it possible a super key? At that time, you have to give a definition and explain that any key means what? Who can open the lock? So we're talking about any key, super key, candidate key, surrogate key, primary key, alternate key, if they all able to uniquely identify the data, so they all are called keys. Every key used to uniquely identify the data. Now everyone has their own characteristics. So any column combination, a table contains multiple super key, a table contains multiple candidate key, but primary key is only one. Why primary key only one? We'll discuss in few minutes. A table cannot contain two primary key. We'll discuss in 2 minutes. So this is all about keys. Now here, when we discuss about then what is exactly surrogate key? Surrogate key is a concept which is very popular basically in concept of data warehousing. Surrogate key is very popular. I want to give an example to everyone about surrogate. How many of you know about this word surrogacy? Any one of you heard about this word surrogacy? Do you guys heard this word medical term surrogacy? Medical term surrogacy. What is medical term surrogacy means? Surrogacy means if a husband and wife is not able to make a child, so they have an option that they can do surrogacy. It means what? Basically, I what exactly surrogacy means? If suppose husband and wife is able to make a child, so we cannot decide the gender. We don't know. It may be a boy, it may be a girl. We don't know about anything. We don't know that it may be what the complexion will be. Is maybe a white complexion or a little bit darker side. We don't know what are the eyes color. We don't know because we are making as a normal process as a primary key, candidate key, unique key, the data in the table. Surrogacy means in case of surrogacy, we can decide that what the child I want a boy or I want a girl. We can decide that what type of eyes my kid has. We can decide that what the complexion. We can decide the hairstyle, curly hair or straight hair. Everything we can decide in terms of surrogacy. Same thing about surrogate key, which is artificially generated. When I'm using surrogate key, when I'm using surrogacy, when I am not able to make a child. Same way, when my table does not have any column which is used to uniquely identify the data, in that scenario, what we are doing? We will We will populate a column artificially, and that column used to uniquely identify the data. So this is called surrogate key. If you guys working in concept of suppose Microsoft SQL Server or Oracle or MySQL, you add on auto increment column.
Vishal, could you repeat the definition one more time? The surrogate key,
Yeah,
if
I
you
will
don't
repeat
mind.
it. Don't, yeah, you don't worry.
Yeah.
Just with example, I will repeat it. Okay. So suppose you guys are using in the concept of MySQL or Microsoft SQL Server or Oracle. If you see, there is a column ID column which is populated through auto increment populated. In Oracle, you can see we are using sequence to populate the data. In PostgreSQL, we are using serial column to populate the first column ID column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why we are populating? Because my table does not have any column which is used to uniquely identify the data. So what we can do? We are populating a column artificially. Artificially means we know that there is a guarantee that there is no duplicacy. There is a guarantee the data come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in this format because we wrote auto increment, because we create a sequence, because identity column, because we create a serial here. So is there a guarantee data will not duplicate? That is called surrogate key. Whenever this question is come guys into the interview, okay, very popular question, surrogate key, right? They can ask you. I will discuss multiple things about surrogate key because many scenarios question comes from the surrogate key. So please try to understand very clearly what exactly surrogate key is. Whenever I'm talking about key, whenever I say the word key means what? Which you use to uniquely identify the data. That is what key means. Uniquely identify the data. Any key, super key, candidate key, primary key, alternate key, surrogate key, unique key, any key when I talk, it means I'm talking about which is used to uniquely identify the data. That's it. That is what the key means. We learned about super key, that all column combination, two columns, three columns, four columns, one column, seven columns, six columns. A table contains multiple super key. If suppose my table contains here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Suppose my table contains six columns, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I run a query, where? Column number 1, column number 2. These two column of 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose this three column combination, if I use, and this three column combination will give you uniquely data. This two column combination give you unique data. Unique data means one row. If it is give you to one row, it means this four column combination can be super key, it can be candidate key, it can be primary key, it can be unique key, anything. I'm getting the data one row here. Suppose if I'm using three rows, 1, 2, and 3, again I'm getting only one data. It means this three column combination is also called as a super key, as a candidate key, as a primary key, as a unique key, anything. But suppose I'm using two column combination, column 1 and column 2. When I'm using these two column combination, I'm getting two rows. It means these two column combination is not a key because it will give me two rows. So minimum, if I'm using this three column combination, so this minimum three column combination give me one row. So this three column combination is called a primary key. So minimum of candidate key is a primary key. The minimum of candidate key is called primary key. So how can we make a difference between primary key and candidate key? Suppose in these three column combination, for example, suppose 1 and 2 and 3, this create one primary key. Suppose 3, 4, 5. These three column combination also use and give me one data. So I'm considering that can also be a part of that, can also be a primary key. Primary key cannot be two. Why cannot two primary key? We can discuss in few minutes. But suppose this column number 5 contains null value. So primary key is the most respected member of the family, and he will say that I will not allow any null value. So this cannot be a primary key because one of the attribute contains null data. So these three column combination can be a key, can be a candidate key, it can be a super key, but it cannot be a primary key because out of these three columns, one column contain null value. So we cannot treat these three column combination as a primary key. When we talk about surrogate key, whenever this question comes, we always explain with the example of surrogacy. You can say, sir, just like surrogacy, surrogate key comes from the concept of surrogacy. Just like surrogacy, as a husband, we know that, right? Shahrukh Khan has a kid with surrogacy. You guys know about the news, right? There are all what so many stars, Bollywood, Hollywood, they have their their kids from the surrogacy. Guys, follow news or not, right? You know that, right? Many of our friend circle, we know few of my friend circle have the child through surrogacy. Why we are going for surrogacy? Because maybe they are not able to make a child. That is the only reason. So whenever, because we can, when we populate this column, if suppose in my table I do not have any column, listen the guys, if suppose in the table I do not have any column which is used to uniquely identify the data, I do not have any column which is used to uniquely identify the data, so we will populate a column automatically. Sorry, we can populate a column artificially is the correct word. We can populate a column artificially which can able to uniquely identify the data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like in Microsoft SQL Server, we are using increment. In Oracle, we are using sequence. In Postgre, we are using serial, which is used to uniquely identify the data, populate the column 1, 2, 3, 4. There is a guarantee. Just like in case of surrogacy, we can give a guarantee that my child can be boy or my child can be girl. That is guaranteed. Okay, I know there is medical will, a lot of progress. We can even decide the hair color, we can decide the eye color, we can decide the color complexions, because it is all artificially generated. In the same way, surrogate, we can decide which column will come now, which column will come next, which next. Everything can be decided because of the concept of artificially generated that column. That's why it is called surrogate key. So guys, you got the concept of surrogate key. Anyone, any confusion on surrogate key now? Please ask, raise your hands. Please raise your hands if anyone, any confusion about surrogate key. All good? If all good, then
Is
also
it
please say
possible
yes,
to
come
give?
on.
Hello?
Sorry?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, tell me.
Yeah, just asking if is it possible to give a live example or an example with data set so that it is more clear for us.
That is the data set. See this column? You, this is the column. So this is the column. This is the table. I'm writing as extra from employees. See this here. Where employee underscore ID is equal to 100. I'm running this. 100 letter, and suppose first underscore name is equal to Steven, and last underscore name is equal to suppose King. These three column combination I'm writing. If I'm getting one row, one data, these three column combination can be a super key, it can be a primary key, it can be an alternate key, anything. Suppose I remove this, run the query. Again, I am getting same one row. It means these two column combination can also be called as a super key or candidate key or primary key, anything we can call till now, right? Because super key is the main subset. Sorry, super key is the main super. All keys are subset of super key. Suppose I remove this and I'm still getting one row. So this one column, the minimum of candidate key is a primary key, but there is a guarantee this data cannot be null. If I use only, suppose for example, first name, and I'm getting here two rows. So first name is not a key. First name is not a key because it gives you two rows. Suppose I'm using last name, King. If I'm using a last name column, and it can give you one, again two rows. So last name also cannot be a key. But first name last name combination give me one row, last name this, and suppose first name is equal to, and first name is equal to, for example, suppose Janet, and these two column combination give me one row, So it means these two columns can be a key. It can be a primary key, possible, but it definitely has a key. So you can call as these two column combination as a super key or candidate key or can be possible primary key. Thus, a primary key means these two column combination cannot contains null value. There should be no null allowed into last name. There is no null allowed into the first name column. If it is happening, then it is a potential candidate for the primary key. But primary key is only one into the table. But suppose my table does not have any column which is used to uniquely identify the data. So what we are doing? We are populating a column artificially. Or that, remember that word artificially. You have to say this word at the time of interview. Guys, your interview answer when will come in your interview, it should looks like a general answer you are giving by your own mindset. It's not like that you prepare from somewhere into the Google and giving the answer. Interviewer will know that you are actually memorizing the answer or it coming from your own mind. So this is called artificially generated the column. Suppose my table does not have anything. So this is called surrogate key. We populate that column. Because if I am not able to make a child, me and my wife is not able to make a child, we'll adopt the child or we will use the surrogacy to populate that column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now many people get confused. Sir, how to create surrogate key? Suppose we are creating a primary key and then the table we can go and write it here. Create table, suppose EMP. Create table EMP. And we can go and write it here. Suppose go and write it here. ID, number, primary key, comma, suppose E name, I'm writing E name, varchar to 20. Suppose I'm writing a department ID, number. So people can think this is how we are creating a primary key. Surrogate key, we are not writing here as a surrogate key. Think the same example. Suppose if I adopt a child or if I use a surrogacy to make my child here. So do I go in the whole world and say everybody, hey guys, listen, my friend, this is not my own child, this is surrogate child. We are not saying anybody. So if I suppose I go and adopt a child ABCD, so he now become ABCD Jaiswal on the same day. I adopted him and give my name to him. So surrogate key, we are not going to define here. Surrogate key is just like a primary key. It behaves like a primary key because now my table does not have anything which is used to uniquely identify the data. So I adopted you or I got you through artificially generated. Whatever I did, I got you as a surrogate key. Now your responsibility to behave as a primary key. So surrogate key is not specific. We are creating surrogate key. No, surrogate key is a concept that when my table does not have any column which is used to uniquely identify the data, in that scenario, we populate that column using surrogate key. Got that option till here? Anyone, any doubt? All good? Please say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And now there is a question comes for experience level more than 5 years. Interview question.
Yes.
Listen here. There are many people has more than 5. How many people here more than 5 year experience? Can you please raise hands? Just in Avinash Patra, David. Okay. You guys, there are so many people raise hands. It's just like because I tell you to raise hands. Okay. No other question left. Suppose I'm asking this question to all of you. See what type of question comes to all of you, this primary combination surrogate key. I have a table. You gave definition. You say that surrogate key used to uniquely identify the data. That is what you said. He said, okay, you got it. Your table does not have. I have a table. My table contains a column called first name, last name, date of birth. And I have other information, other columns. If I use first name, last name, date of birth, these three column combination, this all you can face in your own project as well. Because you have more than 5 year experience, so maybe you are facing the same thing in your own project. You can tell me yes or no. In your table, you have first name, last name, date of birth. These three column combination used to uniquely identify the data. Uniquely identify the data. If I use these three columns, I will get unique data, means one data, means one row. So this can be a primary key. But in the project, what we are doing? Even I have three column combination, which used to uniquely identify the data. So, but we are still creating one more column by using surrogate key. We populate the ID column through auto increment in Microsoft SQL Server or by using sequence into Oracle. We're still using this column to populate this column as a surrogate key. Tell me the answer that why. If I have these three column combination, it means I can create a composite primary key. What is composite primary key? Whenever composite word comes, it means more than one column. So whenever more than one column used to uniquely identify the data, so you can call these two column combination maybe is called as a composite unique key or composite primary key, whatever. Whenever more than one column means composite word comes, simple. So these three column combination is used to uniquely identify the data that can be a potential candidate for the composite primary key, but still we populate an ID column by using auto increment or sequence, or we use surrogacy to populate the third column. And I say, now you are my primary key. You are my head of the sun. Who asked this question? Chandan, just maybe a minute before I give an example and I say that people asking me question how to create surrogate key. Have you heard that line, Chandan? Chandan, please tell me yes or no. Surrogate key we are not creating especially. We are surrogate key is a concept. I'm not writing and go right here surrogate. I'm not writing surrogate key just like a primary key. I give this example also. Suppose if I not able to make a child and I use the surrogacy to make one child, which is now the head of the family for my family. So I'm not going to tell anybody that this is surrogacy, this is surrogacy, this is my child. He is ABCD Jaiswal from today onwards. So surrogate key is just like a primary key. Surrogate key is key. The only thing is what? That this is not come with the table. We are artificially generated it. So once I generated this ID column by sequence and I say you are primary key. So basically this is surrogate key because it is artificially generated through sequence or auto increment to uniquely identify the data. Got it, Chandan, till here?
Vishal, I got, but I am unable to understand how to use it means. If we don't know which key is surrogate key.
Which key surrogate key? Do you know sequence and auto increment? Because we reach that point when we discuss the class. You know what are you using? MicroSQL Server or Oracle? Which database you are using? Chandan, please answer. Chandan, you are there in the class? Okay. Do you all guys able to listen me properly? Everybody able to listen me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Yes.
Okay. So see here. Take an example. Suppose I go to the doctor. Okay, I go to the hospital. Maybe suppose I go to the Apollo hospital or any hospital. Suppose I go to Apollo hospital. Apollo hospital, when I enter into the Apollo hospital and I create an account that I am a patient and I want to meet, suppose I have a consultation with Dr. XYZ. Apollo hospital will create, he asks you, are you a new patient or you have old patient? Suppose I say I'm a new patient. So he will give me a form. I will fill that form that my name is Vishal, first name, middle name Kumar, last name Jaswal, my date of birth is this, my address is this, my sex is this, my phone number is this. I will fill all the data. They will take my account, they will take the form, enter the information into the system. As soon as they enter the information in the system, there is a key generated. They will say, your patient ID, they give me a file, which patient ID 235, give an example. So in the Apollo Hospital campus, if they say patient ID 235, it means this is me. This patient ID 235 is my identification given by the that hospital when I go there and register myself as a patient. This 235 is not identifying me outside of that hospital. Surrogate key is depend upon the business purpose. When my table does not have any column, which is used to uniquely identify the data. Listen the example. When my table does not have any column which is used to uniquely identify the data, in that scenario, we are populating that column artificially, just like here populating 235 artificially, so that we can identify this 235 is Vishal. So this is called surrogate key. Because it is used to uniquely identify the data, so this surrogate key behave like a primary key. Got it, everyone? This surrogate key behave like a primary key. That's why we are artificially generated it. Okay, take one more example. Everyone. Suppose I'm driving my car, okay, and I jump the red light. I driving my car and I jump the red light. There is no police. I reach home, no problem at all. After a few days, I receive a notice that car number UMT2126. This car number will jump the red light, so please pay the fine. How do the RTO office in India, or you can call the DMV office in US, how do they know that this car belongs to me? Because this car number is my number. When they go to the system and enter this car number, this will give me unique information. This car belongs to Vishal and his address is this. Uniquely identifying the data. This car number used to uniquely identify me. So this car number is a primary key which you use to uniquely identify into the system to this car owner is Vishal. Got my point, everyone? Till here, any confusion? Okay, take one more example. Sup- Suppose take one more example. Suppose I have a car and someone has stolen my car. Listen to this example, everyone. Suppose I have a car and some thieves are stolen my car. As I give the example of the car license plate number or my car number, I give example UMT2126 is my car number. What the first thing the thief will do? They will take my car number plate, throw it out. Maybe they can use his own car number or something else, so that that will be used to uniquely then nobody able to identify my car. Correct, everyone? That is the what the thief will do. The first thing after stealing my car. Agree? Yes or no? Tell me, guys. Yes or no?
Yes, yes, yes,
Listen it here. Let me tell you. Your
yes.
30% of the question come from here. 100% of your scenario based question will come from the basic concept. Class number 1 to class number 10. You have to repeat it at the time of revision at least 10 times. You will get all 100% scenario based question from here. So please, it's not like a why Vishal is teaching primary key. I know about primary key. Nobody will ask you primary key. Please understand it. You are not college student. You are not 1 year, 2 year. They will make a scenario and then ask you, now tell me. So when your concept is clear, then only your answer. Otherwise, you come home and say, okay, that person has setting. Maybe he want to hire someone else. I gave a very good interview, but I'm not get selected. You are not given the very good interview. You memorize some answer from PDF, which you go and just speak, and you thought that you should get an offer letter because you memorize some answer. So that will never happen. Never. In my last 20 years of my career, I never find a single person who memorizing the answer and got an offer. So please understand the concept that will help you for data design, that will help you for data modeling, that will help you for all scenario based questions. So please focus in the class, that will help you a lot. So when I have the car, someone has stolen my car, suppose thief is stolen. So what the thief will do? They will change my number plate. In the previous example, we discussed that this car, if suppose I jump a red light, so by using my car plate number, that is what captured into the camera. So police or DMV office or RTO office, they know that from this car license plate number, that who is the owner of the car and what is the address. They send me the notice to pay the fine. But suppose thief will stolen, they change this license plate number. It means my identity gone. But after few months, maybe 2 3 months, I receive a call from the police station and say that Mr. Vishal, we find your car. Please come to the station, police station, and recognize and take your car back. Now think about it. How do police knows that this car, the number plate is already gone? The thieves will take the number plate and maybe throw it somewhere. How do police able to find my car after 2 months? There are multiple other things in the car, for example, engine number,
Changes number.
chassis number. If the people in US, they know about VIN number. They are uniquely identify your car. No other table, no other car contain the same engine number, same chassis number, same VIN number. In a table, there are multiple other columns which are used to uniquely identify the data. So these columns are called unique key. Primary key is only one. Why only one? That we'll discuss in 2 minutes. That also interview question comes. The interview question come into the interview. That can I create two primary key? 90% public say no. Everybody knows this answer no. Interview question is, can I create a two primary key? All people more than 5 year experience. Tell me the answer. Can I create two primary key?
No.
No. Can you tell me why?
No, sir. Only primary key in a table.
Why? Why? किसने रोका है? Why? Why we cannot create two primary key? Understand the question. Understand the concept. How primary key behave? If a table contains multiple unique key, if a table contains multiple surrogate key, if a table contains multiple super key, if a table contains multiple candidate key, so why the restrictions with primary key? Why there is only one primary key into the table? If you're saying the answer no, everybody say this answer no. You are not unique. Why interviewer will select you? To understand the concept, that will help you a lot. Okay, so there are multiple columns which is used to uniquely identify the data. So this is also called as a unique key. So other than primary key, there is a unique key which is used to uniquely identify the data. The only difference is unique key can contain null value, but primary key cannot. That is the first difference. Primary key cannot contain null value, as I told you. Remember in the previous time, a few minutes before, discussing about the combination. This three column combination can be a candidate key, but if this column contains any null value, so these three column combination cannot be a primary key. It cannot be a primary key because it contains a null value. But in case of candidate key, yes, it is possible of candidate key because it gives me unique identification of the data. But because this column contains null, so this cannot be a primary key. Primary key, something like unique key. Unique key contains null. Primary key cannot contains null. For example, suppose I'm getting this table. See, I wrote here primary key. It means this become primary key. What happened in primary key? Table created. Suppose I want to insert some data. I'm inserted 1A20. I try to insert my data inserted. I want to see the data into the table. I can see data into the table. Suppose I want to insert again one more data with B and suppose 21. Again, I try to insert one. One I declared as a primary key. It means duplicate is not possible. Uniquely identify the data. One more one will come, then I have two rows into the table for one. It will give me error. That unique constant, what is constant, we'll discuss few minutes. But this is violation. You cannot insert the data into the table. In the last session also, if you guys discuss, remember I tell you, whenever you see this error number less than 20,000, it means system think that you are doing some mistake. Got it, everyone? Okay.
Yes.
This column combination I'm inserting is not able to insert, but if suppose I insert here 2, this data will be inserted into the table. Select staff from employee, you can see that. That is the primary key insert. Suppose I want to insert null here. Primary key not allow null. Cannot insert null into employee table ID column. In employee table ID column, you cannot insert null because it's a primary key, or that is the characteristics of the primary key, that I am not allowing null. See this like staff or employee, this data is not inserted. But suppose let's get one more table, employee one. Okay, see this here. And suppose this table, I'm making it here as a, I'm getting one more unique key. I'm just writing here unique. If you write here unique, unique, this become unique key. See this here. Table created. I'm inserting data 1, B, 21 in employee 1 table. My data insert into the table. Suppose I'm inserting again Q, C, and 21. Again, try to insert 21. 121 is already into my table. See this here. one B21 already. I want to insert one more 21. This column, I say you are unique. Used to uniquely identify the data. One more 21 I'm inserting, it will not allow. Same error. ORA 0001 unique constant violation. Because 121 already insert, because a unique key, duplicate value not allowed. But suppose I'm inserting null. Null is allowed. In case of unique key, null is allowed. Why null is allowed? First of all, why null is allowed? Means you don't need to just go and memorize the definitions. Why null is allowed? See this here, guys, everyone. Whenever I try to insert, suppose any other column in department ID, suppose I want to insert 21, it will go and check, does this 21 exist? Yes, exist. So not allowed. But suppose I want to insert null, it will go and check, just does null exist? Null is undefined unknown. Remember that line? We are from today's class to class number 80, whenever we are finishing the chapter. Null, we are always facing with each and every topic. So remember the first concept with null. Null is undefined and unknown. We don't know the value of null. Null equal to null is an invalid statement, wrong statement. Null is not equal to null is also an invalid statement and wrong statement. We don't know null. Null I cannot compare. I don't know what is null. There is no idea about null. Null equal to null is wrong. Null is not equal to null is also wrong. Both are wrong statements because null is undefined unknown. Suppose I'm inserting one more row here. Suppose inserting a 3. See null. One more null. It will allow one more null into the database. See this here. One more null allowed. Even I created the unique key, but unique key allow multiple null values. This is in case of Oracle database. In case of Microsoft SQL Server, it allow only one null database, only one null value. In case of Oracle, it insert multiple null values. Why? Because every null is unique. When I insert one more null, database try to check null equal to 21, fail. Null equal to null, fail. It cannot combine. Null and null cannot compare. So every null considered as a unique. Every null is unique. Database will consider each and every null as a unique value. That's why every null can be inserted into the table without any confusion. So got it here? Why unique key allow multiple null values? Because whenever it try to insert, every null is unique. It's not able to compare one null to another null. Because of that, every null considered as a unique. 10 plus null, it become null. 10 minus null, it become null. Anything adding to null become null. Anything subtracting from null, it become null. Null means undefined unknown. Just like infinite, if you know about mathematics, we are learning about infinite plus 100, it become infinite. Because I don't know what is infinite. Anything adding to that become infinite. Same thing null. We don't know null. So anything adding to null, because for example, suppose I ask you, what is 2 plus 3? What is 2 plus 3? Everybody able to answer 5. Why? Because I know 2 means this and 3 means this. I know the face value of 2. I know the face value of 3. So they become 5. This is the face value. We know that. But in case of null, we do not know the face value. We do not know what is null. So anything adding to null become null. If you see here, let me tell you example here. Let's say I'm writing here, select 10 plus null from dual. I'm writing 10 plus null. Anything adding to null become null. I'm writing a 10 minus null, null. Because I don't know how much minus. Null, I 10 minus 3, or if I do, I will get the answer 7. Because I know 10 out of 3. I know what is 3, but when I do null, I don't know what is null. So anything adding to null, subtracting to null become null. I'm discussing one scenario-based question in 2 minutes, guys. So please be in the class, try to understand it, how it works. So in a table, when I create, right, what exactly composite key we discuss? Composite key we discuss whenever more than one column combination used to identify the data. So it is called as a composite key. Now there is one first scenario-based question. If suppose I have 2 columns which is uniquely identify the data. So how do you decide who is primary key and who is unique key? Suppose I have two columns which is used to uniquely identify the data. So how do you decide who is primary key and who is unique key? So primary key means what? You can say the answer to the interviewer. Sir, if I have two columns used to uniquely identify the data, so I will try to first check, suppose column number A, column number B. I will see, is there any possibility in future that any one column contains null value about data coming from user or data coming from any other system. If any one of them can possibly contains null value, then that cannot be a primary key, that is unique key. First of all, that cannot be the primary key, that can be unique key, because unique key allow null, primary key not allow null. Suppose, second question, interviewer say, no, both are guaranteed that both will not come null. If both are not come null, then anyone can be a primary key, but I will prefer number value. If there is any number data type, so I will prefer that to create as a primary key. The reason we are discussing few minutes, because primary key will create an index. So index we haven't discussed in the class yet, so I don't want to go on that point now. But understand till here, if how to answer, you have to answer if both are guaranteed no null value. So I will, in both of them can be possibly a candidate for the primary key, but I will focus which column, that column contains a number data type. The reason of indexing we'll discuss about in a few minutes. Okay. Now suppose there is a first scenario based question to all of you. This question for everyone. Okay, I discussed one question which I missed in between. I discussed one question or more than 5 year experience about surrogate key and primary key. That my table contains column A, B, C. That can be, for example, first name, last name, date of birth. These three column combination used to uniquely identify the data. But still in my database, I use an ID column which can be generated through artificially, like a surrogate key I'm using to uniquely identify the data, ID column. People having 5 year experience, you all say yes, most of the people. Do you have this type of situation in your project? Tell me yes or no. The people having more than 5 year experience, you just say yes, sir, I have 5 experience. Have you ever noticed in any of your table in your project that contains an ID column that is populated through auto increment or sequence?
Yes, through
Right?
sequence,
If,
the
Yes.
yeah,
ID is populated.
yes, you saw that, right? Even your table contains many columns. For example, if in the same table, in your project table, maybe you have 2, 3 column combination. If I use, you are getting only one row. But still, your database designer or data architect will create an ID column and populate this column through sequence or auto increment. Do you know the reason about it?
Uh, because it will not allow the duplicate value, the sequence.
There is a guarantee. Maybe there is a SSN column, or your passport number, or maybe Aadhaar card number, or maybe your PAN card number, maybe first name, last name, date of birth. These 3 column combination is always unique. There is a guarantee. Think about your own project, your own table. Shiva, you are answering it. You are talking. Sivram. Sivram, think about your own project. In your project, think about any table. Do you have that table? There are few columns who never coming duplicate. There are 3, 4 column combination. If you use, you're definitely not getting duplicate data. Uh, are you okay with Sivram?
Ah, yes.
Right? But still your data architect will create an ID column which is populated through auto incremental sequence for uniquely identification data. He is not using these 3 column combination. Do you know the reason?
Um,
So see this here,
It
everyone. It's
will
okay.
reduce the performance when huge data will be there.
See this here, everyone. What is happening here? Why we are discussing what this type of question comes with a more than 5 year experience, and that is how the simple primary key question, unique key, surrogate key question. Once ever we create a, suppose I'm not getting this idea surrogate column, and I use these 3 column combination for uniquely identification of my data. So I will create a primary key on it. Once I create a primary key on it, so what happened? These 3 column combination, suppose first name, last name, date of birth. These 3 column combination which is coming from user, I create as a primary key. There are two problems. Problem number one, whenever I create a primary key, in most of the scenario, not always, we'll discuss about it in the next class. Most of the scenario, database will create an index on top of it. The people who are 5 year experience, I'm targeting those for this answer. Do you all know that, right? Whenever you create a primary key, database will create an index on top of it. You know that, right?
Yes.
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 Guys, okay, right? Please talk to me. That is how you learn, right? This is discussion is to learning from each other. But this is not true. But 99% of the cases, once we create a primary key database, we create an index on top of it. Once we create an index, how it works? Database will create a separate data structure which can maintain those indexes, binary indexes. Experienced people, they know that what I'm creating, right? They know that what I'm creating, correct? A bind B tree structure will be
B3
created,
index.
which used to maintain that indexes. So if any data insert into the table or update from the table or delete from the table, database has to do and maintain these indexes. Suppose this data gone. So maybe this data will come up, maybe this data will go this side. So database has to maintain that structure. It will take a lot of time consuming process. One reason. Second reason is what? Because this is the user data, it can be possible, maybe out of millions of data, there may be possible that one user is not having any last name. Maybe this data can be possibly coming from the user as a null value. And because I create a primary key of these 3 column combination, so null value not allowed. It may be possible. So my data will be fail. So because of to avoid such errors into the production, we are not using any this information as a primary key, and rather than that, we can create a surrogate key which is used to increment this populate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And there is some column which is no guts. For example, SN column if I have, or suppose Aadhaar card number if I have, or suppose PAN card number if I have. I know that this cannot be null. Everybody must have PAN card, everybody must have Aadhaar card, everybody must have SN or must have passport number. But these are my identity. I cannot go in the reveal into the public and say, hello, my SN number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or Aadhaar card number 16 digit, 12 digit Aadhaar card number, 10 digit PAN number. These are sensitive information. We cannot use sensitive information to pick the data and use in a query directly. So that is how we are not using these columns as a primary key and use this as a surrogate key. That can be a debatable question as well. Interviewer can ask you, who is better? What is better? Can I create this or create this? Never say answer who is better. Always say the pros and cons in both the scenario. If I use this, it means I don't have to do any extra ID. But the negative part is I have to get index on top of it. Database has to maintain those indexes. If any data in future coming null, so that record can be failed. But in case of surrogate key, there is a guarantee there is no null will come. And data will come auto increment one by one, one by one, one by one. Got this answer, everyone? Everyone is okay till here? Ankur, Anil Yadav, Amarpali, Mahesh,
Yes, sir.
Mrinal, right? Sanket, Santosh, Sunehra, Shaq, Sugna, everybody's okay? Everybody's okay till here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, let's go to two scenario based questions. I just discussed two scenario based questions, then we're done for the class. Let's see this here. I'm creating a table. See this question, everyone. Create table supplier. That is the question come in the interview. This question on the lead code, that question comes in some definitely I think Ola or Uber somewhere. I'm writing a supplier ID as a number, not null. What is this not null? What is this everything constant we'll discuss in the next class? But till today, just because I'm discussing primary key, just understand not null means null not allowed into this column. Okay, then I'm writing suppose for example, supplier underscore name varchar to 30. Suppose contact name, there is one more column, suppose varchar to 50. And interview will tell you, I have a primary key on this table that is 2 column combination, supplier ID and for example supplier name. Interview will tell you, I'm getting constant here, constant supplier underscore pk, that is the primary key. That is another way of getting primary key. I can just go and write it here. For example, supplier ID comma supplier name. Done. Interview will tell in the interview that I have a table. My table contains 3 columns and I have a primary key on based on these 2 column combination. Two column combination, it means what? Composite primary key. Okay, everyone? Everybody is okay? More
Yes.
than one column means composite. Everybody is okay, right? So I create a composite primary key by using supplier ID and supplier name. Okay. Now interviewer say, I want to insert a data. I'm inserting this. Insert into supplier values. So what I'm inserting 2, comma null, comma suppose C. That is the data I'm inserting. Does that data get inserted? If yes, then why? If no, then why? See this
It
question.
will not insert
No,
because
it
these
will
are the
throw error.
primary.
The primary key is combination of supplier ID and supplier name. This supplier name column is not written anything. You can insert null inside as well, no problem at all. But because this supplier ID is a part of primary key, supplier name is a part of primary key. You are an attribute of primary key. Remember in the last session we learned, if you come to my family, you have to follow my culture. Remember everybody? We discussed in the last class.
Yes.
Remember everybody when we discussed the data type, I discussed about a concept. When you come to my family, you have to follow my culture. Okay, so this supplier name is become to my family of the primary key family. So you have to follow my culture. And what is my culture? My culture is that I will not allow null value. So supplier name is not considered here. It can insert a null value. But because you are a part of primary key, so this any attribute cannot contain null value. This will give you error. Cannot insert null into supplier table supplier name column. Why? Because supplier name column is a part of primary key. Is not alone a primary key, no, but is a part of primary key. I can insert duplicate value here. Suppose I'm writing here supplier name SSS. Data inserted. I'm insert one more row. Suppose 3 SSS. Inserted 2 times. Let's see, this is select star from supplier. It is data. Don't get confused 2 times. This combination is a primary key. Supplier ID, supplier name. This combination must be unique. This is used to uniquely identify the data. So 2 SSS is possible. In this column, I want as many duplicate, I can add it. No problem at all. Supplier ID also I can use suppose 3. I can insert that value as well. See this one more inserted. Individually, this column contains any duplicate value. I don't care. 2 times. SSS 2 times. But this combination is unique because this combination is a primary key. More than one column is a composite primary key. Got it here? Understand everyone?
Yes, got it,
Got it
Vishal.
here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Let's
clear.
discuss one more scenario based question today for the interview. One more scenario based question. Let's discuss it here. Interview question. This question asked, I think, in Facebook or Meta in interview. I have a table. My table contains duplicate data. Listen the question, scenario based question. I have a table. My table contains duplicate data. And I cannot delete duplicate data because the data in my system, that the real time scenario, guys, you cannot delete data randomly whenever you want in the table. So I cannot delete duplicate data. But my business want there should be no duplicacy. So somehow I want to prevent a duplicacy. Means I do not want any other duplicate data into the system anymore. For example, let me create a table here in front of you. See this here. Suppose I'm creating a table. Create CREAT, create table XYZ is the ID column, that is a number data type. Okay, see this here. Table created. In this table, let me insert values. Insert into XYZ values. I'm inserting one time, one more time, one more time, one more time, one more time. I insert a multiple value. Select star from XYZ. My table contains duplicate data. See this here, everyone. Interview question. Please listen this question asked into the meta interview. Please listen this question carefully. Right? Interviewer asking the interview that my table contains duplicate value and I cannot delete data. It is not allowed. But somehow I want to prevent. That's okay. Till now, whatever duplicate data is there, it's okay. I cannot delete it. But my system want from the next sprint, or maybe when my next release will go, from now onwards in this table, duplicate not allowed. Again, I try to insert one, it will give me error that one already present into the table, don't insert. I want to use this. Question, everyone understand it? If anyone don't understand the question, please let me know.
Understood,
Understood.
Vishal.
Got it?
Yes, the question is clear.
Okay. So see this here. So 1 second, guys. Yes. See this here. Okay. So this is the question. I cannot delete the data, but somehow I want to prevent any further duplicacy into the table. So what can we do? So whenever I want to prevent any further duplicacy, it means what? Who can stop duplicacy? If suppose my this column is a primary key, and when I create the table at that time, it is not a primary key. Suppose if my this column is a primary key, it means that the data duplicate will not possible. Correct? Agree? Understand, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Right? If this table, if this column is a primary key column, it means duplicate data not allowed. But because my table does not contains primary column, so because of that, you are giving the error. Okay. So you can say solution. If I create that column as a primary key or unique key, then I will stop this. Suppose I will go and try to create a primary key. See this here. Primary key syntax, if the table contains the column already, after that I'm creating a primary key. Alter table name, add constant. Constant will discuss that, but the syntax is same. Alter table name, add constant name anything, peak underscore Vishal. Suppose, and I make is it primary key on ID column. I'm going to create a primary key. This table contains duplicate data. Because of that duplicacy, my table contains duplicate. Now I want to stop further duplicacy. So I will go and create this column as a primary key column. I want to create a primary key, it will give me error. Cannot validate. You want to create a primary key, but when the database go and try to create primary key, what the rule of primary key is? That no duplicate data, duplicate not allowed. I'm used to weekly identification of the data, but the table contains duplicate value already. So when I try to create a primary key on top of it, it will give me error that cannot validate. Primary key violation. Primary key rule is saying no duplicacy, but here there is a duplicacy. So because of that, I will not allow to create primary key. Got that till here? Everybody got it?
Yes, all
Yes.
clear.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. So how to solve this problem? So for solving this problem, there is a concept is called, deferable no validate. Deferable no validate. Deferable means postpone. Whenever it comes deferable no validate, let's see what happened. Table altered. What is deferable? I will explain in a few minutes. Deferable no validate option will tell us, now see my table contains same data. But now again, I want to create any insert the same value one again, it will give me error. Unique constraint violation. You cannot insert one again. I want to insert two. He's saying, okay, you can insert two. But again, I want to insert two. It will give me error. My table contains duplicate data already, what data contains previously. But now there is no further duplication because I create the primary key using deferable no validate. Deferable no validate means I'm telling to the database that please allow me to create the primary key. Whatever I did in my past, please forgive me. Do not validate. Don't validate my past. Whatever I did in my past, please forgive me. For now in our relationship, I am very loyal to you. That is what deferable no validate is saying. So when I create a combination with deferable no validate option, it means it allow to create a primary key without validating any old value, and the restrictions will applicable only for the new data. That concept is called deferable no validate concept. Got it till here? Understand deferable no validate, everybody? This
Yes,
I
sir.
can discuss more in detail when I discuss foreign key. When I'm discussing foreign key, this def variable no validated on question will come again, and we're discussing in more detail option of the def variable. But for now, for primary key, just understand it. We can do like this. One more question, just 2 more minutes, guys. We discuss about we did not, we discuss about composite property. That's all. Yes, one last question. Why my table cannot contains two primary key? Or suppose the question is, can I create two PK? Can I create two primary key? Everybody know the answer no. Everybody knows the answer no. We cannot create two primary key. That answer everybody. Agree everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure. Yes.
1 second, guys. Just see someone message me. Just give me. Okay. So, but when the question will come, can I create two primary key? Never say answer just no. Always explain this answer like this. We cannot create two primary key, but we can mimic it. Mimic it means make it duplicate. We can achieve it. Why? If I create a prime, what is the difference between primary key and unique key? We discuss about primary key, unique key. What is the difference? Primary key only one into the table. Unique key multiple.
Unique key multi.
Please mute. Okay, and what exactly? And what another thing we discuss about it? The unique key is what? What unique key is doing?
What
Unique
unique
key
key
allow
can
null
have
value.
allow null value. Yes.
Right? Unique allow null value. So if I create, because my table contains unique key is possible. Table contains only one primary key. Unique key multiple possible. But if I create a unique key plus not null constant, means if there is
Null
a
constant.
guarantee into unique key, if there is a guarantee into unique key, there is no null value, then my unique key behave like a primary key. Got it, everyone? That is what the primary key unique key difference is.
Unique key differences.
Yes.
So once I suppose my table contains one primary key and I have a unique key and I add a value rule that it cannot allow null value, not null constant. If I use it, then I'm able to mimic this. I'll never say answer. This question is very popular. Can I create two primary key? 99% public will say no. But how you answer to get selected? Say no, but we can mimic it. If I create a primary key and one unique key with a not null constant, then that unique key column is behave like a primary key. Then my table contains logically two primary keys. We cannot physically we cannot create, but logically I created two primary key because one is a primary key, another unique key plus not null, and this behave like a primary key that we can do. And why we cannot create it? There is a concept of called normalization. We discussed about normalization in the class, but the people I'm expecting most of you to know about normalization. There is a concept of normalization: first normal form, second normal form, and third normal form multiple. Most of the OLTP environment, we are using only third normal form. What is second normal form? Second normal form is saying fully functional dependency. Second normal form is saying fully functional dependency, right? What is fully functional dependency means? All the column combination, it must go and behave. Suppose, for example, let's see this here. I give an example. Why a table cannot contains two primary key? Suppose this is my table. I have multiple columns. Just guys, 2 more minutes, that's okay. Suppose column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, multiple columns I have. When I run my query, select star from this table, okay? And I use, suppose this is my primary key combination, A and B, two columns. And they are used to uniquely identify column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6. This is called second normal form, fully functional dependency. It means if column 1 and 2 used to identify this, so it is not possible that column 2 alone can identify this, or column 1 alone can go and identify this column. It is not possible because I create this as a primary key. So you are violating the rule of second normal form, because for any OLTP environment, we are going to third normal form. For third normal form, there is a rule: you must be in second NF and first NF both. So if second NF is saying fully functional dependency, it means not all the non-attributes column Means all the non-primary key columns must be identified through primary key. So primary key is this combination. It means this column cannot identify this. This column cannot identify this. It means I am violating the rule of second normal form. Because of that, any database must contains only one primary key. That is how you have to explain to the interview. So that's it, guys, for today. Thank you so much for joining the class. And whoever giving the email IDs, you all will receive the notes maybe by today evening, my evening. Okay. And that's it. Sorry, Anil Yadav, what the question is? I did not understand. I didn't understand the concept of above 5 years. Okay, that's what I said here in the sign up, that when I'm explaining the basic concept what going on from class number 1 to class number 10. So all the people who are less than 3, 4, 5 year experience, for them, more than 40% of your interview, real-time interview question is coming from the base concept which we are discussing in class number 1 to class number 10. For people more than 5 year experience, you can expect minimum of 30% of your question coming from class number 1 to class number 10. For people having more than 10-year experience, for your 100% of your scenario based question will coming from class number 1 to class number 10. This is what I said. So it's all about that you have to focus on the base concept rather than go and answering. Tomorrow is the next class. Tomorrow meeting at the same time, right? I will send the link to all of you. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining the class. If anybody not received the notes, please send me the email ID. I will send the notes to everyone. Thank you everybody. Let's meet tomorrow.